Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another day and another new AI update. And it's honestly incredible how fast everything's changing from 1 week where certain tasks were limited by AI's ability, and now the next week everything could change. And that is the current reality we're living in with all these AI updates. And I'm just staying on top of this all day, every day to give you the best information I can, mainly focusing on the real estate industry and the legal industry. So my name is Avi Hacker, for all of you who don't know. And yesterday, ChatGPT released their new agent that I think is trying to compete with Perplexity's new browser agent, Comet, which I did a previous video on. And I'm going to show you the basics of what it can do, but I haven't had so much time playing around with it, and I did a few test cases, and I'm going to show you how I think it's going to enable people specifically in the real estate industry to do a lot more tasks that were previously much harder to achieve because of the limitations of finding information online or getting navigating through different websites. And I'll take you through that, and also doing more complex calculations with complex Excel spreadsheets like underwriting and doing these property evaluations. So what ChatGPT Agent is that they enabled within the ChatGPT window to connect to certain of your sources through API connectors, but they basically took Operator, which was their browser agent, and Deep Research, which was their deep research agent, and combined them together to, when you send out a task within the chat, it will kind of go off in its own terminal and start doing the task as a human would, and open up a browser, start coding if it needs to create a presentation. And this ability is really cool. You see here, it combined Operator Deep Research. It can now handle spreadsheets better. And like, this is all available on their website, but I'm not going to go too much into this because I just like focusing on showing you what is possible. So a few things that I want to mention that I think were a significant limitation in the real estate industry and how people have been going about it. And I was curious to see how well it will do. So I've been speaking to a lot of people, and finding people's information, either that's who owns the property, what's their information they could get to try to contact them, what LLC owns the property, what's the, like, is there any liens on the property? Yeah, you can get the title report, but just for preliminary due diligence, you just want to try to get as much information as possible. And I've heard that, and I've seen that a lot of the information out there is not always correct if you're trying to find the right people, and navigating through all these different websites and trying to find the owner's information is a significant burden and it takes a lot of time. So I've been always trying to find a way around this using different AI agents, and it's gotten significantly better. But with this, I wanted to try the task again. So I found a random property in Brooklyn, and I said, find the deed information for me on Acris and tell me if there's any liens on the property and anything I should know about in consideration of purchasing it. Now, what this agent did, I did this beforehand and we'll walk through one live just because some of them take really a long time, but it shows you the replay of what it did. So you can see here that I gave it this prompt, and then it started off in its own terminal, which was really cool to see. And now this is something that I have not seen any other agents properly and accurately able to do. It was able to go to Acris, know what I'm talking about. You can see here. It's looking for the block and lot. So, and then one of the things that it did really cool, yeah, so I didn't give it the block and lot. So then it went to look for the block and lot number. Then it started searching the web, clicking around. And then here is where it got really cool. So it started clicking. So I'm not sure why. It's not showing. But it started clicking through Acris like a person would, where if you would just do a regular search on, let's say, Google or a deep research before, it would try to pull up as much as I could from just scraping data without properly clicking through sources. But what this started doing was it actually started to find the block and lot of a property, and then it started to click through Acris to fill out the information to actually pull up the deed, try to find the information from the deed itself, and then you could see here that it went here and it's now looking through this information. And then it's just amazing to watch. And then let's see. See, and it was able to get, see, I don't know why it's not updating live to show here, but it's literally clicking through documents on Acris to find information about any property you're looking for. Maybe we'll try to do this live so we could see it. Let's just see. Property for sale. And let's see. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so now let's just say you want to just get information about the property. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this first. Let's go to a new chat, and you click agent. Okay, then I'll go back here, copy this. Okay. and then you click send. So it's really cool to actually watch, but once you get comfortable with it, essentially you could give it a lot of different properties and say, okay, great, go through all of these properties, find me the correct information, go through all the deeds, even map the chain of title, see if there's any liens on the property, like just have it do all the initial due diligence for you while you're doing something else. And then the other use case that I'm going to show you that I asked it to do complex financial analysis of, let's say, a T12 or a rent roll. So you see here, it's actually going to these websites and trying to look up the information of the property. It's not simply just trying to research and just get the information online of just what's simply available. It's going through the website and getting even more information that would come back as a random search. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so it's trying to figure out how to find the information about this property. So it wasn't able, like I didn't give it an apartment number. So it's trying to figure out, okay, great. Do I need an apartment number? Maybe help it out with an apartment number. So you could see it's literally trying to think of, okay, great, I can accomplish my task this way. And now I'm going to go back, try to research more information, see if I could get the correct information, and continue my task. So it's really such a different dynamic of what you're able to do now. Let's see, is it just going to pick a random apartment? See, like it went to try to find the actual listing that maybe I took from. Because I've spoken to a lot of people, and the information that's online or readily accessible is not always correct. It's normally usually very expensive to obtain, and if you could just give multiple properties and it could go do its own research and give you actual accurate data, that will be incredible. Like I just like watching this because it's truly amazing to watch. Let's see. Let's see, maybe I can zoom in more here. Okay, normally, yeah, like you could do this and go off and do your other tasks, but I'm looking to see how well it's going to do for its actual tasks. And for everyone joining now, like we put in a property, we're going to see how well it finds like the deed, the owner information through actually navigating Acris, which other models and other large language models have not been able to do really good so far. Thinking maybe this one was a harder one because it needs a unit number. Okay, great. I think I found it. Found something. But this is going to be the most accurate information that you're able to get from anywhere, really. Because if it's going directly to the source, and even if you're not in New York, and let's say it's not Acris, it's a different county website, and you have to click through all these forms and fill out all of this information, if you could just give the agent saying, okay, great, here are all my property addresses, and I want you to go out and find all of the correct information. Try to find anything you can on, is it owned by an LLC? Is it a property owner? Are there any liens on the property? This is really going to change the game for just due diligence purposes. Okay, so while this goes off, I'll show you what it found for the other property. So this did it for the property in Brooklyn. And you could see here, it was trying to open, then it went through the information, and then it came back with like this ownership information, the property identification, the history on Acris, the sale, the liens, the outstanding liens and mortgages, the consideration, the due diligence, the summary, and like that was all done all by itself, actually navigating online, which was really cool to see. So now for our next piece was a lot of people I speak with have these really complex Excel sheets with a lot of data. And one of the things that AI has not been able to do so well so far was actually do really good complex transactions, especially with Excel sheets, and manipulate that data and actually maybe even update the Excel sheets for them. So what I did was I generated just a sample Excel spreadsheet, and then and then I put it into AI, and then I was like, okay, great. I pasted a sample T12 for a multifamily property. And then please extract and summarize, calculate the all key ratios, run a sensitivity analysis, export it to Excel, and write out all the calculations, and then create a presentation and make a 3-slide outline for an investment committee. So it worked for 4 minutes. So I have to see what it did here, but this was the outcome. So it did all of this. It did all of the key ratios, sensitivity analysis. It gave me an Excel workbook, which I want to open to see if it actually gave me the formulas. And then I'm also going to ask it, see, like it gave me a 3-slide outline, but I want to say, create the PowerPoint presentation for me to present to someone. Okay, so it's going back into the terminal that it created before. And it's actually thinking of the best ways to create a presentation. And it's looking to see, okay, great. For a presentation for real estate, what is the best way? Like, what are the best pictures? So it's actually researching that, and then it's going to start creating its own pictures for the slideshow presentation. So while this goes off, let's see. You'll see here, it worked for 4 minutes here, what it did. So it started off by loading the data, and it started running its own terminal on parsing out all the information. It started summarizing the income. So you could see here, it's doing a much more, zoom into here. Like, this is something I have not seen done before really well. It's starting to do all of its own analysis. So now that it's in its own terminal, it's able to really parse all of the data and use as much code as it wants because it's in this self-contained area. And hopefully that information will be much more accurate than it has been. And after this, I'm going to open up the financial model that it gave me with to see if it actually gave me all of the formulas. Okay, so let's go back. See here, it didn't know what certain ratios meant. So that's really cool that it didn't just assume what it means. It actually went to research what is the best way to do this certain analysis. Like, what is a debt yield definition, real estate loan definition? So like, this is really cool to see that it's actually thinking about how to do the work in the best way possible. And then it says, okay, how to use operating expense. Like, how the break even, like, this is really cool. It's really thinking about these tasks. Okay, let's download this Excel spreadsheet. And okay, here's the Excel spreadsheet it gave me from that information. Let's see, did it give me the actual formulas? No, I don't see anything here. Okay, try to do. Let's see. Okay, great. Oh, here it actually did try to give me some type of formulas, and here it gave me sensitivity. Zoom into this more. Okay, so it's actually running and created different formulas in Excel, which is really cool. So let's try to actually make it even better. I go back to here, see how it's doing on my presentation. But then I'm also going to say, actually, let's just let it do this for a second. Let's see what it did so far. Zoom into this a little bit more. Okay, so here is where we asked to do the presentation. It's tasked to do, okay, now it's looking for the best images to do for a presentation. Trying to find high-level images to use. It's using its image generation tool to create. It's writing the code to actually build the presentation. Okay, it needs to modify the code to restructure the files. Okay, and that is still running because these tasks could take up to, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, but okay, so we'll let that go. Let's go back to our other property and see if it was able to find anything yet. Let's see what it did so far. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe this property for some reason isn't good enough. It's not giving the units. Let's just do an easier one. Let's do this one. Okay. Okay, let's send that one off. See how it's gonna do. So I think this one's getting confused. We'll just let it go. But I don't think it's gonna come back with anything. How's this one doing on the presentation? Still working. And like you could actually look through all of this. And I'll show you one I did actually last night. I was just trying to research it. I was like, okay, great. Can you go out and research all the small to medium sized AI consultants, how much they're charging, different use cases they're using, put it all in a spreadsheet. So this is like a use case that actually did come back, and hopefully it will work for that one. So it put together this file for me. So if it will open. it put together, yeah, the Excel spreadsheet for me. And then it also put together, okay, this is like the presentation that it put together for me. Let's see. Okay, let's see, play slideshow. No, like, it wasn't like bad. Like, this is just really cool that it was able to even put this together. So what I'm thinking that if you get like a draft template from this, you could even take this and put it in Gamma and then just make it that much more like to be much more presentable. Okay, so what's it doing here? This one's thinking how to look up the information. Let's see, this one is still running. That's the other thing people need to take into consideration. Like these tasks right now, like it was just released yesterday, they do take a while. And that's why I don't recommend like just watching it. But for this purposes, we are. But you could just fire these off and go back to doing other work. You don't have to sit there and watch it. Like you could close your laptop and go do other stuff. So even if these tasks take 30, 40 minutes, even an hour, depending how complex it is, but it's you have to think about it as you giving that work to actually someone else and then coming back to you later with a with their findings. So like that's what I think this is trying to achieve. And it's actually okay, it's almost close putting together the presentation. Now, I also did a video on Perplexity Comet. So that actually is also a game changer in that it takes over your browser. And this is you're still limited to the ChatGPT terminal, where I think for these maybe more in-depth tasks, like it might be better, but for everyday use cases, here, actually, let's just try it out now. Because I have actually browser open. So here, let's go to my assistant. Please go to Acris and find me the owner information of this property. I'll actually do a live test to see which one is actually better. Hopefully now it should take control of my browser. Let's see here. Let's see. I want to zoom in. If you can see here in the little corner, let's see. It's navigating through it. Trying to find the information. It found the block and lot. If I zoom in on this. Let's say I want you to perform the actions in this browser right here so I can see you do it. Okay, great. So now it's taking over my browser. So like this is the key difference between Perplexity Comet and what ChatGPT released yesterday. You're able to control your entire browser with Perplexity as opposed to ChatGPT's agent, which now goes off into its own browser and terminal and does a task for you and come back. But I think just initial impressions, like this could be significantly more helpful as everywhere you're logged in, it can navigate to those websites, find the information, aggregate all of it, do these complex calculations, like look through your entire web history, and that will be really cool. And like these products are not perfect yet, but it's showing you where everything is headed, and everything is really about to change. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, it's entering the information. I found the block and lot number. See, you'd see excellent, something significant is happening after I tend to see it automatically populated. Okay, great. So now it found block and lot. Okay. This might be doing a better job than ChatGPT right now. Like I am not touching the screen and it is doing it all for me. They're right here. It did it. Let's see. I'll say open the deed and tell me what you find. This is amazing. Okay, so now, yeah, I pulled this information. Like you can't get more accurate than that source. Now let's see. Let's go back to ChatGPT. And let's go back to that property. And let's see where it's at. Okay, so this one, is it still stuck? Let's see. This one is still stuck. Let's see here. Did it find that information yet? No, kind of got confused. But it did, for the record, work for this one. So I don't want to discount that. So now let's see the slideshow presentation that it gave us. Let's see here. Multifamily property analysis, July 18th, 2025. Play slideshow. Investment committee briefing. Financial performance and ratios. Key ratios. Stress testing and recommendation. Okay, and that's what it put together, which is cool on its own. But in a nutshell, there's so many more use cases of what I would love to try out, but this is just a preview of what got released yesterday and how I think it's going to impact the real estate industry. So to summarize, a few things that I see is due diligence, property information, title information, just all the information out there that you was either protected behind websites and you had to click through websites. Now, I think is really possible and much easier, either through ChatGPT Agent or Perplexity Comet, which I think right now Perplexity Comet has the edge because it could actually take over your browser and everything you're logged into, it will do that information and take those tasks for you on your behalf. So I think that is a significant advantage over having a terminal inside of your ChatGPT screen. Now, for the in-depth analysis of, let's say, putting together valuations or underwriting properties, I see the ChatGPT agent as having the edge there, because if you could give it a really complex Excel document and then it could tear that document apart, running code against it, putting together these different formulas and coming back to you an hour later in its own terminal, as opposed to, I don't know, Perplexity, how well it will do that. I'm going to have to test it out. But then coming back to you with those calculations, like it kind of did here, but opt to do more extensive testing, I think that has a significant edge here. So this is just a sneak preview of how I think everything is changing. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. But this is what's happening right now in the AI world. And I think it's going to be a war of like the AI browsers. And it's definitely a very exciting time. If you found value in this video, please like, share it with others, and follow for more information on how I could keep you updated. And I have a newsletter that you could find on my LinkedIn. It's called the AI Tactical Toolbox. It's on my Substack, and I share mostly daily or weekly live updates on how this could directly help you. I hope everyone has a great day.